Welcome back to my channel. It's me, Liz, with Sneak Peeks Tarot. This reading here is for my Gemini. Gemini, this reading is your mid-month reading for March 2018. General reading. Love, family, work, whatever comes out. If this message does not resonate with you, please check your moon and rising signs. Okay, guys? As always, follow your own intuition in any situation. And if you're a subscriber, thank you for coming back. If you're not, please hit the subscribe, the alarm, and the like so you get my latest videos. Okay, guys? Gemini for the last 2 weeks. For my mid-month readings, I'm only throwing 3 cards. If anything pops up more than that, I'll keep it as a bonus. You only get 1 outcome card at the end. So, let's get started up in here. If my voice sounds a little bit more scratchy, it's been a long night. So, I'm trying to... Okay. Alright. Let's see what we got here for our dear Gemini. Alright. So, the first card we got here, Gemini, is the Judgment card. And the Judgment card talks about making a decision. Alright? Making a... It's a 20, but when you reduce the 20, it reduces down to 2, so you're making a decision. And most of the time, this is like an ultimate decision, like an ultimatum decision or something like that, okay, guys? This is like the last call of judgment, you know? So whatever decision you're making right now is like, you hit a point where you're finally making one decision more, you know, a very serious decision that you probably been lingering on or been thinking a lot about. But with the Judgment card coming out, it's like once you make the decision, you're going to finalize it and you're not going to go back on your word. That's what really this Judgment card talks about. It can also talk about things that are meant for you. So like things that will work out your way. Because if you do things, you know, it's like, if you've been doing things, let's say karma, right? If you've been doing things karmatically good, then of course you're going to receive karmatically good judgment about things you do. You know, so you really should take consideration whatever choice you're making and whether or not it's going to serve you good. Because I always say that when I see the Judgment card, it's really like you're going to get what you deserve. You know what I mean? Once you make the decision, you know, whatever decision it is like, you're going to get what you deserve for making that decision. So whether it's good or bad, it's not saying not necessarily bad, but it's like really getting what you deserve in that final decision. If that's what you chose, then, you know, you're going to get, you know, whatever it is that you've been, you know, if you've been doing things accordingly, you know, the proper way and not being deceitful and stuff like that, then of course you're going to have judgment called your way, the best way. But if you're not and you're being deceitful, just know that things can, you know, you're gonna get what you deserve. If you're gonna do it the right way, you can get things the right way. If you do it the wrong way, you're gonna receive things the wrong way. But like I said, judgment is a decision making. It is a choice, but it's a final decision. It's the final call. It's the final curtain call. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's like just making it. This is like your final. You know, it could be about. This is a general reading. So, for many of you males and females out here that are either tired or been dealing with a certain situation, whether it's good or bad, and it's been a repeated on situation, and you're finally making this last decision about it. That's what it is. You're finally, you either had enough or you actually know what you want right now. So you're making a decision. Like I said, whatever you put forth is whatever you receive back. Okay, guys? The next card we got here is the Tower card. And the Tower card is like the wake-up call. I always call it like a wake-up call because people, you know, it talks about change. You know, the Tower card talks about change. A sudden change. You know, like receiving some sudden information that kind of knocks you off your feet. Kind of changes the way you see things and your perspective about things. Because when the Tower card comes in, is when something in your life has been going on for too long and enough is enough, okay, guys? When the Tower comes in, it's because the divine steps in and it's going to show you exactly where you need to change. Either you change or, you know, the divine is going to help you change because they will get tired of seeing you, you know, over and over again with the same thing. And with the Judgment, this is a final call. So You know, what I see here is like you did not make the decision. You're lingering on a decision. And, you know, because you haven't made the decision, or if your decisions has been the same cycle decision and it is repeated cycle, it starts repeating its cycle. You can't end the cycle if you're repeating a cycle, if you're doing the same thing over and over again, okay? Sometimes the divine steps in because you're not making the hard decisions. You're not making the proper decisions to move for your higher good. So when the Tower comes in, it's like divine stepping in, talking about, okay, guys, enough is enough. And since you didn't want to change this part of your life, I'm going to change it for you, whether you like it or not, pretty much, okay? Whether you accept the way I do it or not, because you need change. And you need change for your higher good. So whatever decision you make is going to be a finalized decision that's going to change your life. You know, with the Tower card, it will shake up your world. It will be a very strong decision that will change your life regardless, because it's a sudden change. It's going to make things change. So, you know, you should really be cautious about what decision you make and how you make that decision, and if it's really worth it, and make sure it's for your highest good, like I said, because when the Tower comes in is when you're not making the decision, or you're repeating a constant cycle, and the Tower stops it. It's like, no, the divine will step in. If you're really connected to your spirit guides and guardian angels, trust me, they will step in. And that's pretty much what the divine does. It's like, okay, you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it for you. And if the Tower does it for you, I tell people this all the time, you might not like the way the Tower does it for you, the divine, when they step in. So it's best that you make the decision yourself and make the proper judgment call for yourself, for your higher good. Because if you keep repeating that cycle and and the Tower comes in, that change will happen no matter how you feel about it, whether it's good or bad. And however it comes, the Tower can be good, but the Tower can be bad, because it is a wake-up call. It is a drastic change. It is it's changing your way of life, and it's you know, it's for your better though. It's for your higher good. It's you know, it has to eliminate this stuff that's really not good for your higher good. And if you're really, like I said, if you're a spiritual person and you have been really connected to your spirit guides, guardian angels, or whatever faith, religion you have, just know it comes to a point where you only could do so much when the divine steps in, because, you know, the decision you're making are very important. And you did get another decision card. You got the Two of Coins, and the Two of Coins is bouncing back and forth through decisions, okay? You know, kind of multitasking the things that you're doing, okay? So, hold on 1 minute. But yeah, so you do, the Tower card is like right in the middle of these two choice making. This is your last choice making decision, okay? This is like final judgment call. This is like the final step here. Like, okay, like, when, you know, don't think negative when I say final judgment call. It's just like the last decision making, like the last. It's like, that's it. After this, you don't have to make the decision no more with this situation. Like, it could be about work, it could be about love, it could be about your family, it could be about money, it could be about moving. It's just telling you that whatever decision you're making right now needs to be your final core decision. It needs to be, you need to stick with that decision, and you need to really know that it's either good for you or not, and make sure you're doing it properly. The Tower is, because you're not making the decision, you don't want this Tower to come in, but it might just come in and force you to make that decision that you've been multitasking for a while, okay? You know, don't get scared with the Tower. Sometimes the Tower comes out when somebody, like, wins the lottery, you know what I mean? And it's a, like, overnight change, you know, because you just become from poor to rich. But what I'm trying to tell you is, whatever this Tower is coming in, that choice that you did not make, the Tower is forcing you to make that choice. And it's going to be a final decision. And, you know, you multitasking between these two things, whatever decision you're making, is going to be a drastic change for you guys, okay? So I do want to take one card out for the Tower, because this talks about making choices and the last choice. And if you don't make the proper last choice, divine steps in and makes it for you, okay? So, why is the Tower here for my Geminis? Why is the Tower here for my Geminis for the last 2 weeks of March? What kind of decision does my Geminis have to make? Got him. Oh, and it's about your emotional contentment. This also talks about your home and your foundation, but it talks about the things that make you happy. So if you're making a decision at home or about your emotional state, something or someone that can make you really happy, and this is where you find your comfort and your comfortability at and your happiness at, this card also represents the Pisces. So you could be dealing with a Pisces. Maybe you're making a choice with a Pisces, but it's talking about really using your intuition, okay? Pisces is all about intuition, all right, guys? You don't necessarily got to be dealing with somebody, but that energy of Pisces is talking about doing things within your heart and making choices for your proper self-love, okay? So the choices you're making is about your happiness being at stake, okay? So you need to make that proper decision for your emotional fulfillment and follow your heart and make the decision that does bring you the emotional fulfillment, okay, guys? That's why the tower is here. The tower is here is for your emotional state. It's for your emotional happiness. I mean, I'm not saying that you've been depressed. I'm not saying that you've been going through a lot of problems. But when this card comes out for the tower, it talks about your emotional state. You emotionally. You know what I mean? If you're emotionally balanced, if you're following your heart. All right, this don't always talks about, oh, everything's all perfect. And yeah, it does. It talks about being completely, utterly happy. But this is a chapter closing also. This is a cycle closing. Tens are about cycles closing. And it talks about closing an emotional cycle that might not be serving you good. So you really need to take the decision to close that cycle. It's telling you to close a cycle that's not good for your emotional state. And you should really think about that, right, guys? Consider the fact that some things are meant for us, some things are not meant for us. And if it's bringing us pain and a lot of problems, whether it's work, whether it's love, whether even a home, if a home is falling apart and you're dear to life holding on to it and you know you can't keep this house because it's not fixable, you need to let it go. And that's what it's telling you. Whatever it is that you need to make a decision on, it is really part of your emotional state. It's part of your feelings, the way you emotionally feel. It's what with the tower is like. You're not risking really much. You're not risking anything material. What you're risking is your emotional state with whatever the situation is. So you need to make a decision. All right, guys? Make a decision about whatever it is that's going on in your life, whether it's work, because it could be work too. Maybe you're overworking and not getting paid enough. It's about you being emotionally happy and content in all aspects of your life and closing out whatever cycle that is not bringing you happiness or comfort, okay? That's not for your better good. And that's what judgment's about. Releasing things that's not for your better good. It's like the last call. It's like, okay, enough is enough. And that's what the tower's saying. Enough is enough. I'm done seeing you, getting up and falling back down, getting up and falling back down. Well, you know what? We don't want you to go back that way. We're going to take that away, or we're knocking you down ourselves. So you will make the decision, you see, that final call decision to, choose the things that are worth your while. They're better for your emotional state, instead of you keep putting yourself in a position in life where instead of being happy, you're miserable. You could be scared. You could be tired, bored. I don't know what it is, but this is emotional state, okay, guys? And you really need to take that into consideration. Your emotional state is very important for your life, and you need to stay happy. So if there's something in your life right now, all right, Gemini, that is not making you happy and you need to release, you need to close that cycle out so you can find your emotional happiness, all right? I wouldn't want to see the tower do it for you. I mean, they do it for your higher good, regardless, when the divine steps in, but it just can be a little harsher. And you want to try to make this decision on your own before the divine takes over, because, what's not meant for you is not meant for you, all right? What's meant for you is, what's not is not. And some things, as bad as we want to hold on to them, we need to learn how to let go and close or release for our emotional best happiness, okay? So for my Geminis, please follow your heart with whatever decision you're making. I'm going to get you an outcome card so you can take for the last 2 weeks of March with you, and just, hear the advice on the card. But it's always to keep in mind a little bit something extra, or, a clarifier for the rest of the March, Some people call it an outcome card for the month. I call it whatever you want. If it's a clarifier for you for just this reading, fine. If it's a card for you to hold on for the month that helps you remember, the decisions or things that you properly got to look at, then it is what it is. But these are things that you really got to focus on in your life, okay? Six of Ariel is your message to take with you. It says material needs get fulfilled in magical and unexpected ways. Act of kindness, given or receiving with a grateful heart. This talks about balance, the give and take, and this is the same thing over here. Whatever decision you're making, make sure it's for your higher good, because like I said, whatever you put in is what you're going to receive back. So whatever decision you make, it's kind of like, it doesn't matter what decision you make, but whatever decision you make, it's what you will receive back. Yes, some things can get better, but this is like the balance card here. This talks about giving and taking, and balancing out your give or take financially, okay? So we're talking about emotional state and your finances, or how much you're investing emotionally. So let me speak 2 seconds on this real quick. When I look at the Six of Ariel and I look at this Ten of Cups, it talks about you've been emotionally investing, okay? Not really financially, okay? Even though we do got the Two of Pentacles, it could just be a choice, all right? About where you need to invest your feelings in, okay? But this is talking about your feelings. I don't want to, just keep that in mind. This is about your emotional state. The Six of Ariel talks about you investing your emotional state. That means that either you're loving more or loving less than the person you're dealing with, okay? We're not talking about, a spouse or a relationship. It could be anybody. It could be your kids. It could be your mother. It could be your brothers, your sisters, your father, your boyfriend, your husband, your booty call. I don't care. Whoever it is you're investing emotionally in, all right, it's not balanced. Either you're investing too much or they're investing too much, and there needs to be a decision made about that emotional investment, because it will affect your emotional happiness in the future. So you need to be clear about the decision you make and stand by that decision. Stand by the decision that you make, because like I said, what you do is what you deserve, and what you get out of it is what you will deserve. So if you've been doing the good part of everything, you're going to get the good end of everything. Just judgment, the judgment will prevail on your way. But once again, it's about being balanced about your emotional investments. And if you're investing your emotions into two people, just in case for some of my Geminis might be investing in two people, you need to let go of one, because that is not tolerable. Okay? Not that you can't do it. You can do it. But if it's not for your higher good, this is why you got your Tower card, okay? You need to release the one that is not giving you the emotional satisfaction or happiness you need. You need to find balance. You need to be true, because judgment, if for some of you that are in a third party situation, I'm gonna let you know right now. If you've been cheating on your spouse and you decide to choose to be with the lover and not your spouse, and you do it the wrong way, guess what? You will get some type of karmatic bad end somewhere, because you're doing it the wrong way, not because you can't. You are always allowed to break up with somebody and move on into the next circle, you know what I mean? And move on to a next relationship or whatever. Or even if you're in a partnership and you're dealing with two people and you're manipulating people with, their finances. But at the end of the day, the point of the fact is, it's about doing things right so that you can get the better end out of the judgment. You know what I mean? It's about doing it the right way so you can get the good part of the end, and it's about making the decision that is going to emotionally fulfill you and letting go, ending whatever doesn't, okay? So like I said, for the rest of March, just keep in mind that you need to stay balanced with your emotional investments, okay? Who you're giving your emotional investment to, and if you have two people, you should only be doing that with one, so you need to emotionally invest in one person. If it's your family, you might be emotionally investing more on certain things in your family, and your family might not be so invested in it. But just keep in awe that your message for the rest of March of 2018 is to stay balanced, okay? To stay balanced, keep your balance, especially emotionally investing in anybody, whether it's a person, a job, your family, a house, is knowing what you're investing and what you're going to get back. Remember, equal. Whatever you give in, you receive equally back, okay? So keep that in mind. Just stay balanced with your investments emotionally. And if it's financially, some people do emotionally invest themselves into their job. But even if it's financially, just keep it balanced. Make sure you're getting what you receive in return. Make sure whatever you put in, you're getting received. Just like judgment. Whatever you put in is what you receive. You know what I mean? Whatever good you've done, then judgment will be good. You will prevail with judgment. If you've been doing bad and judgment calls, guess what? If you've been doing the things the bad way, judgment calls, then you can, you know what I mean? It won't go as what you expected. It'll actually go the wrong way. All right, so that's all I have for you, Gemini. Just please, whatever investments you're making emotionally, make sure they're for your higher good and for your happiness, emotional fulfillment. All right, guys? As always, follow your own intuition. I love and respect who you are. Namaste. Goodbye.